Hey guys, Kyle the Dead Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia Chapter 184 review. And so the chapter starts off quite strong by learning that Eddie has been entrusted into the care of UA. And for me, just in the way that whole exchange went, it's really kind of one of those things where, on the surface, it's a great idea, since Eri will be surrounded by her new friends in Class 1A and Togatha. But underneath it all, there is still that questionable aspect that she's basically traded up one confinement cell for another. Only difference here is that Aizawa seems willing to teach her how to control her powers, and she's being monitored by pro heroes rather than doctors. Which this whole thing, it puts me in a bit of a moral dilemma, because on one hand, I understand the need to keep her under control, and she will definitely benefit from being around other heroes more than doctors. But then that raises the bigger question of what is the right what is definitely the right middle ground here, and how far is too far, because is it better to keep her confined to a room to be monitored with the students only getting visitation rights, or is the better option to monitor and train her while letting her roam around the school surrounded by people who she feels more comfortable with? And actually, even in that second one, there is still a chance of her powers getting, of course, going berserk, as she would be surrounded by a lot of people. But it's like, yeah, it's one of those things where in between these two options I just presented, there is definitely a middle ground, but it's kind of one of those things where it's one of those things where I'm not sure what exactly that middle ground is, or what the right course of action here is, because I do understand that Ares' powers are definitely they definitely are sporadic, and they can pop up at any time. But I think if there's anything I've learned is that her powers really only get is that her powers really only become like dangerous when I think whenever she's pretty much in a high stress environment. So in that, and that's the thing, both scenarios are high stress environments, but you almost got to think that one is slightly better than the other, only because it's going to be in a more friendly environment or something like that. But yeah, it's like it's one of those things where you never really know what the right course of action in that situation is. But well, either way, but of course, either way, I can say for sure that Togata will be a key player in what happens to Eri from this point on. And and while I can say that I definitely like Tamaki's words of encouragement to Mirio about about the peerless hero returning and whatnot, I will say his it's a little undercut by the fact that if you look at the entirety of Mirio's story arc from the moment he was introduced to now, I think you'd be hard pressed to say Mirio's title as the peerless hero ever really disappeared, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess we could argue he hit a bit of a bump in the road between losing his quirk and Night Eye dying, but even then, I really think those events only made his resolve stronger. And Mirio, even in the worst of times, he's always seemed to have been that prime example of it's your actions, not your power, that make you a hero. And honestly, it's one of those things where I'm having trouble seeing how the peerless hero aspect of Mirio ever really went away. I think in a way Mirio's always been a hero with when he had his quirk, and after he lost it. I'm really having hard trouble in understanding Tamaki's instant line of thinking with that one. But yeah. Okay, so that aside, we get introduced to the concept of the JP billboard charts in this chapter, which is one of, if not the main sources that regulates a hero's popularity in the society. And honestly, just from me saying that, I can safely say that all the problems with this society fall on this chart, because something like this brings full light onto the actions of a lot of the heroes we've been introduced to up to this point, as well as what Stain was fighting against. Like this whole JP chart system, it brings forth exactly the problems that Stain was fighting for with this hero system. These charts have ruined the very basic concept of heroism and turned it into a fucking popularity contest, when really it should be just about saving people. And again, this is something we've known from the beginning of the series. We've gotten little hints and teases and whatnot of it, but this just puts full revealing focus on just to what degree the concept of heroism and heroes has been bastardized. Like, people don't like in this situation, definitely citizens with quirks. They're not becoming these regular Joes with quirks. They're not becoming heroes because they want to genuinely save people. They're becoming heroes because they want They want to be top heroes. They want to be on this popularity chart. So it's like, it really puts into perspective how very few heroes like Izuku and, dare I even say, Gentle are left in this world. Like, everything, no, there's not. There are very few heroes now in this world that actually want to be heroes in order to be at the top. In fact, honestly, I think the only heroes that really, I think the only heroes that are really starting to fit this category anymore are Izuku, Gentle, and the rest of Class 1A. Those seem to, and of course, and probably a few as well in Class 1B as well. But yeah, this current new generation, Izuku's generation, are really the only ones acting like real heroes now. It's not any of these older ones are like, hey, we basically want the popularity, we want the fame, we want the glory, we want all that shit. But yeah, it's like this. Yes, it's a major issue, and I'm really hoping that after Izuku becomes the world's greatest hero, that this whole system becomes obsolete or whatnot. I'm hoping it does. But of course, it's through this. Of course, I do got to give this JP chart thing credit. It's through this that we get the reveal that Endeavor has been officially named the #1 hero. And after his talk with All Might, I have a feeling we're going to see him moving forward in a very different direction from what we've seen before. And what I mean by that is, I get the feeling we're going to see him acting more like his old rival All Might, in the sense where we'll start seeing Endeavor no longer care about whether or not he stays at #1, and we'll see him more just saving people strictly because it's the right thing to do. I can see, and with the way Endeavor has been after I think his Endeavor's talk with All Might really opened his eyes as to what it really. I think the combination of Tim's talk with All Might and All Might even losing his powers and whatnot, I think that did give Endeavor enough perspective to know that, yeah, it's not about, yeah, All Might, he never really did it for fame, he never really did it for glory, he just did it because he thought it was the right thing to do. And I think he's going to be taking that mentality forward. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this new status leads him into another confrontation with Stain in the future, and that, for me, would be the ultimate showcase of just how far Endeavor has developed and how much he's taken All Might's words to heart. I think another confrontation with Stain would really be appropriate for pretty much Endeavor, because Stain hates Endeavor with a passion, because to him, Endeavor has always been the hero who is only doing it for selfish goals. But now, because Endeavor's changed, it would be really interesting to see what Endeavor would do in another confrontation with Stain. But okay, now, of course, I do want to take a moment to kind of talk about Endeavor's new costume, of course, because it is still, Endeavor's costume is still kind of very much its own thing. But if you really look at his costume, you can actually see a little little hints and homage and little hints and paying respect to All Might, almost like there are little hints and respects to and paying respect to All Might's hero costume and whatnot. So yeah, it should be. I'm really like it is, and it is kind of like putting the final nail in the coffin of, yeah, I'm doing this to kind of respect All Might's legacy, kind of thing. So, yeah, it's just a little hint there. Um, Now, that aside, so we also get the reappearance in the chapter of the Pussycats, and we learn that even though Ragdoll has yet to reclaim her quirk, she's still moving on with her life as the Pussycat's secretary, basically. And on the surface, it's probably going to seem like a really demeaning job, but I, I feel there's sort of an underlying message from that it's okay to grieve, but eventually you have to move on with you have to move on. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in the same cycle and inevitably destroy yourself both mentally and physically. Like if Ragdoll had continued grieving, she basically would have. I'm almost certain she pretty much actually would have gone down she would have gone down the path of a villain almost like she would have grieved just from losing her. She would have done like terrible things in just the grievance of losing her quirk, but because she had her friends there and whatnot, she pretty much had said, yeah, I need to move on. And we get some cute interaction with Izuku and Koda in this chapter, and seeing how like yeah, like how like with the shoes, it was the smallest thing with the shoes. Like we basically see that he basically really how much Koda has really actually started to respect Izuku as a hero, and that he basically got the same shoes as Koda's turned into a total fanboy. He got the same freaking shoes as Izuku, red shoes. Like hell, even Mandalay said, I won't get those shoes unless they're red. Like yeah, Koda, he's turned into a cute little fanboy, and a fanboy of Izuku's, and I love it. I really do love it. um, but but even more interesting though is that we get, aside from the Pussycats being reintroduced, is that we get reintroduced to All For One in this chapter as well, in a flashback of the Pussycats trying to see if they can reclaim Ragdoll's quirk. And I love how in a few brief panels we got a reminder of how great a villain All For One is, because because if you look at the few brief stints of dialogue he has in this chapter, you really almost get the sense of how much his quirk has basically corrupted his mind and made him like a power-hungry monster. Like and it really kind of feeds into the fact that yeah, quirks they definitely are cool abilities, but depending on the quirk and how it's used, it really can corrupt you and lead you down a dark path. It happened with Shigaraki. It happened with All For One, and yeah, like All For One is still like a great villain. Yeah, just seeing him, just seeing in the way that like his quirk, his desire. You see that his quirk and his desire to basically stockpile quirks. It's almost become like an addiction to him. It's something he can't stop because his power has just become too. He loves having that power now. It's become like a part of who he is, his very being. So yeah, it's a cool little showcase of All For One there for sure. Um, but yeah, guys, that's my review. Enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. That's not for me. Signing off. Later, guys.